Hey there, treasure hunters. What if I told you that a humble little nickel could be worth more than your dream home? Yes, I'm talking about the 1964 Jefferson nickel, a coin that's turned spare change into a jaw-dropping $2 million payday. Sounds wild, right? But stick around, because today we're diving into the story behind this mega-valuable coin, how to spot one, and what makes it so incredibly rare. Spoiler alert, you might want to start raiding your piggy bank. Let me start with a quick backstory. The Jefferson nickel has been around since 1938, and while most of these coins are as ordinary as your morning coffee, the 1964 nickel stands out. Not just because it's vintage, but because a very small number were minted as special coins, proof coins, to be exact. Now, a proof coin isn't like the loose change jingling in your pocket. Proof coins are like the VIPs of the coin world, struck with extra care, shinier than a new car, and made for collectors rather than circulation. Here's where it gets crazy. In 1964, the US Mint was in chaos. They were cranking out coins like there was no tomorrow to meet a national coin shortage. Somewhere in this madness, a few proof coins escaped into circulation. Oops. And that, my friends, is why we now have a nickel worth $2 million floating around. Now, before you go flipping every nickel you find, let's talk about the details. To identify the $2 million Jefferson nickel, you need to look for a specific trait, a matte finish. That's right, this isn't your average shiny nickel. It's got a smooth, satiny look. Check the mint mark, too. If you spot an S for San Francisco on the reverse, you could be in business. Oh, and make sure it's a 1964, don't let wishful thinking cloud your judgment. Here's a little story. A few years back, I was helping a friend sort through her grandfather's old coin collection. At first, it was the usual suspects, pennies, dimes, a buffalo nickel here and there. Then, bam! We found a 1964 nickel that looked different. It had that matte finish I mentioned. My heart was racing faster than a kid on Christmas morning. Unfortunately, it wasn't the $2 million version, but hey, it sold for $50, which was still a win. Moral of the story? Always double-check your nickels, you never know what you might have. Alright, coin enthusiasts, the 1964 Jefferson nickel is proof that even the smallest things can hold incredible value. Imagine stumbling upon one in an old jar of change. It's like winning the lottery without buying a ticket. So, what are you waiting for? Start digging through your pockets, jars, and couch cushions. Imagine this, you're digging through your pocket change, looking for vending machine money, and bam, you've got a coin worth $1.80 million staring back at you. Sounds like a wild dream, right? Well, buckle up because today, we're talking about the 1982 Jefferson nickel that could make you richer than your neighbor's Powerball stories. Spoiler alert, it's not your average 5 cents. Let's dive in. Alright, here's the deal. In 1982, the Jefferson nickel went through some, identity issues. That year, the US Mint didn't produce proof coins in San Francisco. Proof coins are those shiny, mirror-like ones that make you feel fancy just holding them. Instead, they only made regular business strikes at the Denver and Philadelphia mints. No biggie, right? Wrong. Somewhere along the line, one single proof Jefferson nickel from 1982 got minted in San Francisco, by accident. 1. This coin is like the unicorn of nickels. And you know what that means. Collectors went absolutely bananas for it. I actually remember the first time I learned about this coin. I was at a flea market, casually flipping through a coin album. The seller told me, you know, a 1982 Jefferson nickel is worth millions. I laughed it off and said, yeah, and I'm dating Beyoncé. But then I looked it up. And wow, if I'd found that nickel, I'd be living on a yacht right now. Okay, so here's why this bad boy is worth $1.8 million. It's all about rarity. There's literally only one known example of the 1982 S-proof nickel. It was discovered in 2003 by a coin collector who probably fainted on the spot. Since then, it's been called the most valuable modern US coin in existence. Think about it, this tiny nickel is worth more than a Lamborghini. If I owned it, I'd probably keep it in a vault guarded by a ninja. Or maybe just wrap it in bubble wrap and pray. Now, don't go dumping out your coin jars just yet. The odds of finding this exact nickel are, well, about the same as me dunking on LeBron James. But here's the good news, there are still a ton of valuable Jefferson nickels out there. Keep an eye out for coins with mint errors, like off-center strikes or doubled dies. Those can fetch hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. And always check the mint marks, those little letters can mean big bucks. Add some energy. And hey, if you're like me and you love a good treasure hunt, coin collecting is the ultimate adventure. It's like being Indiana Jones but with way less running and way more magnifying glasses. So, what's the moral of today's story? Don't underestimate your pocket change. That little nickel sitting in your couch cushion could be the key to early retirement. Okay, maybe not the $1.8 million 1982, yes, but there's always something valuable hiding where you least expect it. And hey, if you enjoyed this wild coin tale, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the Pawn Stars Coins crew. We've got more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could literally change your life. Who knows, maybe next time, we'll be talking about your $1 million find. You stumble upon a nickel that's worth not 5 cents but $1.7 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it's not. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1993 Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary coin hiding an extraordinary value. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just start seeing your pocket change in a whole new light. Oh, and don't forget to grab your nickels, I'll wait. Pause, just kidding, let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about the 1993 Jefferson nickel. What makes this coin so special? On the surface, it looks like any other nickel, Thomas Jefferson chillin' on the front, Monticello on the back. But here's the kicker, it's all about the error. There's a rare version of the 1993 Jefferson nickel that was accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. It's lighter than a regular nickel, and the error gives it a distinct, almost silvery appearance. A sharp-eyed collector spotted one of these unicorns a few years back, and guess what? It sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million at auction. That's enough to pay off your mortgage, buy a new car, and still have some leftover for a beach vacation. Talk about small change with a big impact. Now, you're probably thinking, what are the odds I have one of these coins? Well, let's just say they're slimmer than finding a good parking spot at Costco on a Saturday. But hey, I once found a rare penny in my dad's old coin jar. True story, he used to collect change from the couch cushions, and one day, while helping him sort coins, I spotted a wheat penny from the 1940s. It wasn't worth millions, but it sold for $50. That's a nice dinner out, thanks to a penny. So, who's to say you can't strike gold, or in this case, nickel? Here's how you can check your nickels for value. First, grab a magnifying glass or a loupe. Look closely at the coin's details, especially the weight. If it's lighter than 5 grams, you might have something special. Next, check for errors like doubling, misprints, or off-center strikes. If you're unsure, take it to a coin shop or send it off to get graded. Even if it's not a $1.7 million jackpot, some error nickels can still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Also, be on the lookout for proof coins from 1993. These were minted with extra care and have a mirror-like finish. While they won't hit the $1 million mark, they can still be worth much more than face value. So, there you have it, the incredible story of the 1993 Jefferson nickel. It's proof, pun intended, that the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. Before you cash in your change jar or toss that nickel into the tip jar, take a second to give it a good look. Who knows? That 5-cent coin could be your golden ticket to early retirement. Today, We're talking about the 1999 Jefferson nickel and why one specific variety has collectors ready to drop $1.5 million. Grab your coins, a magnifying glass, and maybe a stiff drink, because if you've got one of these, your laundry problems are over for good. Let's dive into what makes this nickel so special. Now, before you start flipping every nickel you own like it's a golden ticket, let me explain that in 1999, the Jefferson nickel had its usual mintage, but something incredible happened at the Philadelphia Mint. A few nickels ended up with an extremely rare misstrike, a double die obverse error. This error causes the lettering in Jefferson's portrait to appear slightly doubled, like they had won too many cups of coffee before being stamped. Coin collectors love these quirky imperfections because they're like the ultimate collectibles Easter egg. Now, here's where the story gets even better. Most double die coins sell for hundreds, maybe a few $1,000s if you're lucky. But one particular 1999 Jefferson nickel hit the jackpot. A pristine example of this error was sold for, are you sitting down, $1.5 million at auction. Yeah, million with an M. That's some serious coin for, well, a coin that I remember the first time I heard about valuable nickels. My buddy Jim, who collects coins like most people collect coffee mugs, called me up, screaming like he'd just won the lottery. Turns out, he found an old nickel with some weird doubling on it. He thought it was worth millions, but after a few weeks of dreaming about yachts and private jets, he discovered it was worth $5. Moral of the story, not every odd-looking nickel is a winner, but it's worth checking. Okay, so how do you know if you've struck nickel gold? First, grab your magnifying glass and examine the obverse side of your 1999 Jefferson nickel. Look closely at Jefferson's face, the "In God We Trust" text, and the date. If you notice any doubling, especially clean and sharp doubling, you might have something special. Condition matters too. If your coin looks like it's been run over by a shopping cart, don't get your hopes up too high. The $1.5 million nickel was in almost perfect condition, which is why it fetched such a mind-blowing price. Now, I hate to burst your bubble, but even if you have a 1999 Jefferson nickel with a double die error, it's not automatically worth $1.5 million. The typical value for these coins in decent condition ranges from $1,000 to $10,000. Still, that's a pretty nice payday for something that might be hiding in your couch cushions. So, there you have it, the incredible story of a 1999 Jefferson nickel that turned spare change into serious cash. Will you find the next $1 million coin? Maybe. But even if you don't, checking your change is a fun way to dream big and learn about the fascinating world of rare coins. But wait, before you go turning your couch cushions inside out, let's break down what makes this coin so special and how you could be sitting on a mini goldmine. First off, let's talk about the coin itself. The 2002 Jefferson nickel might not scream millionaire status at first glance. It's got the same old Monticello design, and Jefferson's face isn't exactly winking at you, giving a secret sign of hidden value. But here's the kicker. Coins that sell for millions usually have something funky going on, minting errors, unique features, or a backstory juicier than a reality TV scandal. Now, the $1.3 million nickel we're talking about wasn't just any run-of-the-mill coin. It had a super rare minting error. Think of it like finding a Picasso in your attic, except this Picasso is metal, round, and fits in your pocket. Experts call it a die clash error. Basically, the dies that stamped the coins didn't align properly, creating a cool, ghostly image on the nickel. It's like the coin version of an accidental masterpiece. Quick story, about 5 years ago, I got super into coin collecting. One day, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic when we stumbled upon an old jar of coins. I was convinced I'd found something valuable. Turns out, it was just a rusted Canadian penny. Not quite the jackpot I was hoping for. But hey, it taught me the value of looking closely at every coin because you never know what you might have. Here's the deal, not all 2002 Jefferson nickels are worth millions. In fact, the odds of you finding the $1 million coin are about as slim as me saying no to dessert. But even if your nickel isn't a $1 million superstar, unique coins with smaller minting errors can still fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars. So, what's the moral of this story? Next time you get a nickel in your change, don't just toss it in a jar or let it roll under the car seat. Take a closer look. Who knows? You might be holding on to the ticket to financial freedom, or at least enough to pay off that credit card bill. If you've got a 2002 Jefferson nickel lying around, give it a good inspection. Look for unusual markings, odd features, or anything that seems out of place. And hey, even if your nickel doesn't make you a millionaire, learning about rare coins is still pretty darn cool. Oh, and before you go, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I've got plenty more tips on coins that could be worth a small fortune, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. Hit that subscribe button, and let's make some money one coin at a time.